Hello and welcome to Azure Design Review Tool Quick Start Tutorial, your simplest way to perform Azure Landing Zone reviews and Azure Well-Architected Framework reviews. The way you get here is aka.ms Azure Checklist. Again, aka.ms Azure Checklist brings you to this tool. Before I jump in and demo the tool, these Azure recommendations that you'll be seeing shortly are coming from Azure Review Checklist repo, this repo. If you'd like to contribute to these recommendations or have suggestions, feel free to issue a PR or open a GitHub issue in this repo. Now that that is out of the way, let's get started. As you see, you can either perform an Azure Landing Zone review or Azure WAF, in other words, Well Architected Framework review. Let's get started with the Azure Landing Zone review. So when you come in here, it loads up about 200 plus Azure recommendation across 8 landing zone area design areas. So Azure Billing and Microsoft Entity Tenant is one of the landing zone design area. Another one is Identity and Access Management, and so on. So there are 8 landing zone design areas. Or in other words, we call it category as well. So it might overwhelm you because there are 200 plus recommendation across different categories. So the way you can filter them out. So let's say you can click on this filter on the top and go into, let's say you wanted to only focus on Azure Billing and Microsoft Entra ID tenants, and then you can click on this X mark to exclude them. You're not deleting them, you're just simply excluding them from your view. And now it's only filtered down to only show these, this only design area, right? And at the same, and also if you really bring back other categories, you can come back to this and click on it, other X mark, it brings back into the included category as well now. So now you can also filter down by severities as well. Right now it's showing all the high, medium, severe, low severities. Let's say you only want to focus on high and medium. You just simply click on high and medium and exclude the low category. Now, let's go and get started with it. For example, the first recommendation is enable both department admin view charges and account owner view charges on your EA enrollment to allow users with the correct terms review cost and billing data. That's one of the recommendation, right? So if you wanted to learn more about this recommendation, every recommendation has a link and all our recommendations are coming from Azure Docs. You can go on to read further about this. And let's say you're already performing this. Yes, already implemented it. Okay, and say yes. You can say fulfilled. Go on to the now. If you want to move on to the next recommendation, you simply say this forward button on the top right hand corner. It takes you to the next recommendation. Leverage Azure Lighthouse for multi-tenant management. So let's say you're not sure about this. I'm going to say not sure about this. Again, this comments is optional. The key here is whether you fulfilled or not. You can say that it's still open. You need to go back and verify it. So the comments you enter shows up in here, and also the way what the selected the status you selected here as well. Now that is all done, you can go on to the way you save it is you just download the response. It downloads as a JSON file, and it downloads to only your local file disk, right? It's not saving anywhere. It's just you're downloading it to your local environment. Now that is done, let's say you go back and you perform all those recommendations and you make some changes in your environment. You come back a week from now or a month from now, and then you wanted to upload the response so that you can continue to work on it. Is you click on that upload button, upload a response, and you select the file. Then it brings back all your recommendation that you have downloaded. Now, let's say now you move on to the next one. Let's say ensure you have a multi-tenant automation approach to managing your Microsoft Entra tenant. So now that you're going to say, yep, it's fulfilled, then you said you're not sure about this. Now, yes, I go click on it. Yes, I know. Yes, taken care of this. Now you can say fulfill. So change it again, download the response as well. So this is how you would perform a landing zone review against your environment, and capture all your responses and download the response. Now let's go ahead and perform Azure well-architected framework review. It's almost similar. The only few slight differences are instead of showing you the landing zone design areas, the well-architected framework shows these 5 WAF pillars: reliability, security, cost optimization, operational excellence, and performance efficiency. So these are the 5 WAF pillars. Again, you can filter it. If you come down in here, you're only performing reliability review. You don't care about security for now, at least, right? Reliability, and you're excluding all of them, right? And again, same thing, you can bring only the high severity items as well. And again, I have only reliability right now. This is all I'm going to perform. Just like that, just the way we did in the landing zone design area, you would go on to the landing zone review. You're going to go on to perform your review against each of these recommendations. Then once you're done, download the response. One other key thing I wanted to point out is your workload, the solution you're deploying in an Azure might have more than one services. By default, we load Azure AKS Review, but you can click on this import checklist button, and brings here it displays all our checklist. Let's say your workload contains API management and also AKS and also Azure Storage, maybe Cosmos DB. So you can select multiple of these checklists and click load template, and it loads all of them in one review, right? So you have API management, you have AKS review, and then a minute, close all of Cosmos DB. Then you scroll down Azure Storage. So you have all of this checklist in single review. So now again, you go on to perform each one of them, answer each one of those recommendations, then download it. This is how you would perform Azure Landing Zone review and WAF review. Happy reviewing.